At Thursday's Democratic presidential debate, you'll probably know most of the candidates, except for Marianne Williamson. Williamson was born in Texas, but this is where her whole thing is really from. An Art Deco-era movie theater in Beverly Hills.
Welcome to Agape. We recognize you.
On Sunday mornings, it's where you'll find the Agape International Spiritual Center weekly meeting for worship. Just your standard, in touch with the universe, California-y, feel-good, fun time.
Welcome to the stage, Marianne Williamson.
Williamson's guest appearances used to be about healing yourself.
Hello, Agape!
But now they're about healing the country.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a corporate matrix that has become a new American aristocracy. We need to do more than just make life better for the serfs. We need to dissolve the aristocracy. This is America, and we don't have one here.
Williamson is a rock star in this world.
Is everything happening or what?
It's in Los Angeles that she grew into one of America's most successful spiritual teachers. And it's her celebrity that got her on the debate stage. When people like her start getting political, a lot of other people tend to roll their eyes. Williamson, after all, is pretty much the platonic ideal of coastal, rich, woke white lady with opinions.
My career started here back in the 80s. I've been lecturing on a set of books called A Course in Miracles. Not a religion. It's a system of spiritual psychotherapy. It's about how to be more loving and how to be more forgiving. And right now I'm talking about love as it applies to politics.
This stuff plays great in California. Did you care about her before she got into politics?
Yeah, I did.
Why? What was so important?
Book that came out, The Healing of America, and she received a lot of flack from people in the so-called spiritual community because you weren't supposed to mix spirituality and politics.
Why do you love Marianne Williamson so much?
Oh my goodness. Well, I really strongly believe that we do need to return to love. And she is right on so many of the issues that are important to me from a holistic standpoint.
Williamson thinks this stuff plays great all across the country, too. And that's why, a day and a half after Agape, we're in New Hampshire for a full day of 2020 campaign stops, including a no-press-allowed visit to a veterans homeless shelter.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
And a more conventional speech.
We need a moral and a political and a social and an economic revolution in this country, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing less than that. And that has to begin with all of us waking up, all of us being aware in a way that we have not before.
I would like to know what you have over Elizabeth Warren.
Bernie and Elizabeth and I have the same views in terms of a fundamental pattern disruption of the political and economic status quo in the United States.
I've fallen down.
Williamson's been political for a while now. In 2014, she tried to run for Congress and failed, despite a campaign song by Alanis Morissette. Her politics are very left. She's critical of corporate power, strongly advocates for slavery reparations, and supports universal government-funded healthcare coverage. In 2016, she publicly endorsed Bernie Sanders. How is your socialism different from Bernie's socialism?
I don't think of myself as a socialist. I think of myself as a capitalist with a conscience. I think that capitalism can be very good at creating economic opportunities, but what has happened since the 1980s, capitalism has completely disconnected itself from any sense of ethical or moral responsibility to anything beyond fiduciary responsibility to its own stockholders. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
The Manchester event was a foreign policy event. Williams had offered a lot of concern about nuclear weapons and ongoing wars.
And you can't just prepare endlessly for war and hope you back up into peace. We also have to wage peace. We have to cultivate peace.
A promise to create a Department of Peace. An America that talks softly and carries a big crystal stick. What's wrong with politics?
It's a conversation that has become too narrow a container for the energies that are needing and seeking to emerge on the planet right now.
People call you a spiritual guru. What do you think about that?
But I don't think anybody over these last 35 years will come hear me at a talk and think I wasn't a decent person of decent intelligence. But these caricatures get created. So yes, the New Age guru, like I'm some crystal lady in cut velvet, and not that. Listen, I know some wonderful crystal ladies in cut velvet too. But it's just that this, the implication is that you're an intellectual lightweight, and there was a time when it definitely marginalized and minimized my career. Now I'm like,
What does it mean to be spiritual?
all that spirituality is the path of the heart. That's all. Spirituality is different than religion. Franklin Roosevelt said, the administrative aspect of the presidency is secondary. He said the primary role of the presidency is moral leadership. It wasn't a bunch of philosophers and yoga practitioners who led us into Iraq.
What do you think a yoga practitioner would lead us into?
Well, hopefully, a greater alignment.
Online, Williamson's campaign is doing very well. But in New Hampshire, her crowds were small, but attentive.
It turns out love is the answer, after all. Thank you.
The stereotype would be that basically that kind of woo-woo stuff isn't going to play in New Hampshire. But you think it might?
I think it might. She approaches it with a passion, and she explains it at the very beginning there. She explained what she did and what she does, but she doesn't sound like a Dr. Phil.
Williamson literally moved to Iowa to live there through the caucuses, and she's campaigning all the time. She's taking this pretty seriously. Tomorrow night, she'll learn how seriously Democrats are taking her. When Democrats and when the establishment gets nervous about the left, what they're often nervous about is like woke white women from the coast who have a lot of sort of starry ideas and want to tell people what to do.
Well, first of all, I don't feel like I'm telling people what to do. I'm stating a moral principle. Telling people what to do? Listen, people can vote for who they vote for. You've seen me in Los Angeles, you've seen me in New Hampshire. My words are landing. If you want to take this viewpoint and have this viewpoint guide public policy, you have that option. And then it's up to them. And that's how it should be.